is the edge banding on your kitchen cabinets falling off like this, coming out. This is the edge of the door of the kitchen cabinet, and because it's been a long time sitting there, the glue is getting weaker and it just fell off. This is a aluminium edge protection banding, and you could replace this. You can buy new ones, but I could just try to glue this one back. When you try to put it back, make sure that you peel it further than the part where it came off, because the whole edge banding might be weaker. So in some situations it makes sense to replace the whole edge banding, but in this case I will try to glue it back. The purpose of this material is to protect the wood of the kitchen cabinet, so the moisture doesn't go inside the door. You can remove these doors, 2 screws there, one here, one there, or these 2 screws. You can remove one or the other and the door will come out. Also, there is a similar set of screws on the top of the door. For sure, you should remove either on one side, both top and bottom, or the other side. One trick here is to align it carefully and then put tape. You see, this had a bit of tape from before. It's actually the protective film. I never removed it, so oops, look, this one is also coming off. It's because of the moisture in the kitchen, and also they tend to fall off eventually, especially in the kitchen where you have steam or other cooking, you mostly from the steam. And this looks like protective film, but I don't know, it didn't come off, so I'm not gonna try to insist on it to remove too much of that. All I want is to put it back how it was and make sure it stays there in one place. The great thing about repairing this is that they are already the correct size. This is really good aluminium edge banding, and if I would have to replace this, I would really get a specific size. Maybe I would have to trim it. This is ready to put back. And how do you put it back? Pretty easy. You can use a hot iron and a baking paper. The baking paper is so that you don't damage the iron itself, and also the plastic, it might melt and it gets on the paper, not on the iron. And the iron makes the banding hot, and the glue from the banding, which is still there, it will melt and work again. There is a possibility that the hot iron, it's not going to be enough. Make the temperature really maximum. I think cotton should be good. You could try with cotton and move it a little bit up and down. You can also put a bit of hot melt glue in between the edge banding and the wood. That would really help a lot. Here I'm really just breaking a piece of the baking paper. It's nothing special. Plug in the hot iron and make sure it gets hot. And one really interesting tip I can give you here is to use scotch tape, really simple plain tape, to keep the edge banding in place in the correct position, because it might move when you do this, and the tape goes under the baking sheet. It's very important that the actual hot iron doesn't touch the paper, the plastic directly, otherwise you will ruin your hot iron. Here I coat both sides, both edges, I put tape on them. And now they are both ready, aligned properly as they should, ready for the hot iron and the baking paper. Another trick is to use another piece of tape tied to the actual baking paper so that it holds it really well to the edge. If you try this and the edge banding is coming out after you do this, you can use hot melt glue between the wood and the edge banding and it will keep it there. So it's wood edge bonding, the scotch tape, simple tape, and then the baking paper. I keep the hot iron as straight as possible to the edge, and I really just move it up and down, trying to actually you should move away from the solid part, the part that is still glued. You should move away from that part to avoid to make any creases on that edge there. If the baking paper gets a bit yellow, it's fine. Actually, it's a good thing. It means that you applied enough heat. So okay, just a little bit yellow, not too much. And you see the tape, it's kind of melted under it, but that's not a problem. The tape was only there to support the edge bonding while it was getting glued back to the door. I will leave this sit here for half hour until it's completely cold, no more heat. It's still hot now. Once it's ready, I can remove the tape and it's ready to use. Pretty good. I will remove all this tape eventually when it cools down. If you did choose to replace the edge bonding on your doors, kitchen cabinets, the process is the same, only you have to cut it, trim it on the sides, and nice. That's really all there is to it. You would still use a hot iron and you should still use the tape like I show you here. Hot iron with tape and the baking paper really works every time for the renewed one or the new one. Thanks for watching.